Hello, true believers. This is Doc Hog, and welcome to episode 49 of Comics and Variety. If you like this channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos, and for the sake of YouTube's search algorithm, please do hit the like button. Okay, before I move on to One Trump Man, I want to talk about a comic book that I have mentioned before in Comics and Variety, and one that I'm backing called Door Kicker's Panzer Demon by Scott McCullough. I'm happy to say that Door Kickers has reached and exceeded its Indiegogo goal. So, congratulations to Scott McCullough. This is a really good comic from based on the preview that I saw. It's basically a combination of epic fantasy and the military. It still has over 20 days left on its campaign, so you can still get it, and I would highly recommend it. Alrighty, on to Trump Punch Man. Trump Punch Man was created by Timothy Lynn, and it is a play on the comic book One Punch Man, a comic series which I'm sorry to say I know nothing about. That said, Trump Punch Man is pretty good, and it is not really what I expected. What I expected was maybe a somewhat funny, fairly pro-Trump comic book, and while it is that somewhat, it also gets in some criticism of Trump if you pay close enough attention. The book starts with a villain called Anti-Vax Mom. No, that's not Anti-Vax Mom. Well, at least not in this comic book. Okay, yeah, there she is. I like that Lim is taking aim at the anti-vaccination crowd. They are rather zealous, and the results of their crusade are dangerous. Anyway, Anti-Vax Mom is about to eliminate a vaccinated child after eliminating his parents. And Trump comes in and he defeats her with, wait for it, one tweet. Yes, that's how he beats his enemies, with his Twitter account. Anti-Vax Mom tries to defeat him with a tweet first, but is no match for Trump when it comes to tweeting. And in the real world, who is a match for Trump? Trump is just, let's face it. If nothing else, he excels at Twitter. For example, this here is when Democrat Senator Kirsten Gillibrand dropped out of the race. Let's face it, that is troll level master. Okay. Now, yes, his Twitter feed does get him into trouble at times, but he also uses it to set traps for his opponents, which they often walk into. So it makes a lot of sense that his weapon in this comic is his Twitter account. But he also accidentally destroys the boy while destroying Anti-Vax Mom, which is, I think, a way of Lim saying that Trump does have a habit of running over people on his way to get what he wants. Now, his next opponent is supposedly the big gun, called The Truth. And, of course, it proves no match for Trump. And I think by calling his enemy here The Truth, Lim is saying a couple of things. First, here we have a scene where Trump is dismissing the truth. And it is fair to say that Trump doesn't really care about the truth unless it is useful to him. And let's face it, Trump has a problem with the truth. He'll say whatever he wants that he thinks is to his advantage, and he's shameless about it. So, obviously this comic is not entirely pro-Trump. I mean, that is definitely a criticism of our president. And I think a good one. But I also think it is a criticism of how politics, political activists, candidates, and so forth use the truth. The truth seldom matters in politics unless it can be used as a weapon by both sides, left and right. Shouldn't you be telling the truth because it is the right thing to do? Well, in politics, only if it hurts the opposition or helps your side, but mostly hurts the opposition. And then there is the other thing here that I think Lim is saying, and that is that the political left can't fight Donald Trump the same way that they have fought every other Republican. That is by putting out damaging information on them and then letting the media run wild with it. In most cases, that doesn't work with Trump, even if what they are putting out is true, because, one, first of all, everybody knows that Trump is a jerk. So new info showing that he is more of a jerk doesn't hurt him much, okay? We know he's shameless. We know he's egotistical, to say the least. Second, sometimes the information is bogus, and Trump uses it to attack the media, which his base likes a lot. He's made the term fake news sort of common everyday parlance. And given the distrust of the media in this nation, it is in that sense a smart move. Finally, what makes Trump different and what makes it so difficult for the political left to fight Trump is that when Trump is under the gun, unlike other Republican candidates, he does not back down with a groveling, tearful apology. He may apologize, rarely, but he will then turn it around and go right for his opponent's jugular. And I think the best example of this occurred a month before the 2016 election, when the Access Hollywood tape was released, and Trump could be heard saying this to Billy Bush.
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
When I saw that, I figured that whatever chance Trump had to win dropped to zero. It was over. I mean, this was so damaging, you don't come back from that. But 2 days later, what does Trump do? He holds a press conference with Paula Jones, Kathleen Willey, and Juanita Broaddrick, all of whom had accused former President Bill Clinton of sexual misconduct. It was tactically both a ballsy and brilliant move in that it not only sort of neutralized the Billy Bush tape by saying, my opponent's husband has done far worse, and, my opponent has defended her husband on these counts. But it then also puts, Hillary Clinton on the defensive. What do you have to say about your husband, Mrs. Clinton? And I don't think the political left, the Democrats, knew what to do with that, because I doubt any other Republican would have had the balls to fire back like that. And I think that press conference is really what rescued his campaign. Okay. Wait a minute. Wasn't I supposed to be talking about a comic book here? Oh yes, Trump Punch Man. Okay, again, to sum up, I enjoyed it in part because while it was pro-Trump, it didn't idolize him. It had a bit of nuance, you might say, or about as much as you can have with a subject like Donald Trump. My one big criticism of this comic book: why isn't it in color? That would add so much to this comic book, make it just that much more vibrant and come alive. But otherwise, I did enjoy it, and if you haven't picked it up, I would recommend it. Alrighty, that music means that it is time for Hog's Headlines, all the news that Doc Hog wants to report on. Dateline: is Doc Hog a bit of a schmuck? Okay, in a recent episode of Comics and Variety, I reviewed the indie comic Demons Volumes 1 and 2 by Tyler Carpenter. I post my videos on a number of YouTube pages, and unbeknownst to me, Tyler Carpenter is a member of one of those YouTube pages, and this is the response I got. Wow, that's a lot nicer response than I probably deserved. And, Tyler and I had kind of a nice Facebook conversation about it. He explained to me what went wrong, and hey, I understand. And I certainly hope that in the future, Tyler Carpenter is able to, produce the kind of comics that he wants. And after that exchange, hey, I'm certainly going to give him a chance in the future. How can I not? As I've noted in the past, when I give a review to an indie comic, I often feel bad about it, and the way I combat this is with guilt repellent. And this time, I need an awful lot of guilt repellent. Alrighty, that's all for now. Until next time, have a very nice day.